What's up, guys? Pete from the basement here with none other than A. David Lewis, our buddy from Boston, and we won't hold that against him.
Oh, come on. The Sox have been destroyed this season. You could at least have a little sympathy, at least a little pity.
I don't think I can do that.
Okay.
He is the brains behind the Tome, the project that Roger, Rich, and I have been working on. And David, thank you again for the opportunity to do this project. It's been so long since I've actually drawn something that it felt so good to actually get the project done. I'm sorry it's taken so long, but being a perfectionist artist that I am, if shit wasn't right, I'm like, no, I gotta fix this.
It's been absolutely my pleasure. I had no set timeline, expectations, or anything for this. The fact that you guys could get into it and encourage others to get into it, that's what it was all about. That's what it continues to be about.
It has been one of the most fun projects that I've worked on since I graduated college. It really has. It's been an absolute
and it's been a whole
thrill.
week since you graduated college. I mean, that's a long time.
I warn you ahead of time, flattery will get you everywhere.
Okay.
Here is the Tome.
Thank you.
And we also have another present for you. We have the Pete's Basement t-shirt.
Oh, what size?
XL.
Good. XL, good.
No. We're playing around. Look at us. I mean, really. XL is the way to go.
I will wear it with pride. I don't know if I'll wear anything else. I might just wear that and get arrested in just that. But
we frankly encourage Pantsless Fridays.
Ooh, I kind of like that. Although I have a daughter now, so I do have an image to maintain for her. Maybe I'll wear a diaper.
That's fine.
Diaper and shirt.
David, thank you again for being on the program, and thank you for the opportunity. Really, it's been great.
Thank you, guys. I enjoy the show. I enjoy the show all the time. Thank you.
What's up, guys? From the Pete's Basement booth, we have possibly the greatest costume of Comic-Con. Barf?
Barf! I'm a Mog, half man, half dog. I'm my own best friend.
How fucking awesome is this? But really, how original is this? Fantastic.
I won a costume contest yesterday. I won $100 in it. So
Can't beat that. What are you going to use the money on?
con stuff.
Like what?
Whatever.
Here's a question, actually. We've been asking a couple of people that pass by. What is the one thing you're looking forward to the most and the least at Comic-Con?
The crowds is the least, and the most is just the people. I mean, the crowds and the crowds. Really. I mean, I enjoy the publicity of being Barf, and just Lloyd Kaufman asked to take a picture with me today. So really that's about it. Just the costuming and the people and wandering around and shopping, and it's awesome, man. The whole thing is awesome.
We're here with Nicole at the Essence of an Avenger booth here at the New York Comic-Con. Nicole, I saw these, on the internet before, and I was intrigued. So I didn't expect to find them here. But why don't you tell us a little bit about what it's like to smell like an Avenger?
Well, we have fragrances for all the main characters in the Avengers movie. Obviously, everyone's heard about the Avengers. It was like one of the top movies.
I'm pretty sure I went to see that 4 times, or about 4.
Right. So everyone, here at Comic-Con loves to dress up, and they love to act out their favorite characters. Now you can actually smell like them. So we have 7 different fragrances, and each one of them has a different kind of essence of the character that's played. So Hulk smells completely different than what an Iron Man smells like. So, yeah.
Do you have samples?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. So you can try any of these, come through our booth. And so this one's Thor. So Thor's not a business guy like an Iron Man would or Captain America. That's more of a...
I get an outdoor kind of fragrance.
A little more musky of a smell. Mm-hmm. Yep. So it's different.
That's actually really good. This is probably more my style.
So other like a Captain America. This is kind of like an all-American kind of classic kind of scent. So, yeah.
This one's good. I still like Thor better.
Yeah, so we have a bunch of different ones. Plus, we also have perfumes for the ladies. So we have our Black Widow.
This is good because smell has always been very important to me. Oh, that's very nice and sweet, actually. This is good.
Exactly.
That is very nice.
So there's different ones probably for every different type. As everybody comes up, they smell a little bit different, and they also smell a little bit different on you. So if you're spraying it on yourself.
Everyone's personal body chemistry always works.
Exactly. So it's great fun to be able to come up, take a look. And sometimes people are just collectors and love certain characters. Other ones, it's just because it smells great and it's just fun to wear them and be a part of it.
I gotta say, the Thor one is still my favorite, but how many people really want to smell like a big green guy? Like that's got to be the question you get asked all the time, right?
That is our number one question of what the heck does Hulk smell like, and why would I want to smell like him? So, but he has more of a very woodsy smell to him as well. I wouldn't say that he's our most popular, but he's still one of the characters, and it's a great smell. Yeah, absolutely.
Just out of curiosity.
Try that. Smell like
That
what
is-
you think you're doing?
I feel like I'm in a evergreen forest, actually. Oh, well, might as well complete the set. That I like. Thor and this was Iron Man. Thor and Iron Man have definitely been my favorites so far. What kind of price ranges are people looking at when they see it?
So here at the show, we do have some specials. The smaller ones are $15, the largers are $25, and the combo deal is $35 here at the show. They are available online at JADSinternational.com, and I can even give you the code for free shipping. They are a little bit more online, but the free shipping code is Armor Up, so if you do want to order on there. Yeah.
What do you get in the combo pack? Is it all of them, like a little sample set?
The combo pack has 4 of our top fragrances. So it's the Captain America, it's the Hulk, it's the Iron Man, and the Thor. So you get all 4 of the base collection of them, and that's $50 for the 4-pack.
What's up, guys? We're here with Jennifer at the Fandom dating booth. Not Phantom, but Fandom. Jen, you already told me about this, but why don't you tell the rest of the PB fans what this is about?
Okay, sure. Basically, we're an online dating site, fandomdating.com, and we're here for fandomites to find dates, romance, relationships with people in their same or similar fandom. So if you're a Doctor Who, Lord of the Rings, Star Wars fan, you can find someone who's into all of those things. We're brand new. We're in our beta test phase. So, we're just getting started and trying to get the word out. We beta launched in August at LeakyCon in Chicago, which is like a huge Harry Potter convention. So we got a lot of women to sign up there. And now we're here at Comic-Con trying to get a lot of guys to sign up, as well as women, also just trying to get our numbers up and keep the ratios even. And people who sign up here at Comic-Con will be beta testers, but not only that, because they're signing up at Comic-Con, they will get 6 months free membership post-beta phase.
So you've actually got more women signed up for this site than guys right now?
Right now, yes. We'll see what happens by the end of Comic-Con. That could change, but right now, yeah.
So this is basically a way for the kind of socially awkward geek in us all, myself included, who just kind of like, she's hot, and just scuttles away, to basically find somebody that, is into the exact same shit that they are, that, because you can't really approach a girl in a comic book shop, because then you like comics, do you? It's no. And anytime a girl even has picked up a comic book in, some of my friends or something like that, they just pick up a book, it's like an instant, like, remember that scene in Eurotrip when all of the old naked dudes were like, what is it, what, huh?
Yes.
Yeah, same idea. So this is actually like a much better and far more impersonal kind of way to get people this, because some people just kind of talk better via email, text, etc. than they do up front.
Absolutely. And as well, you also know A, that they're single, and B, that they are open to meeting somebody. Like you said, the girl in the comic book store could be dating somebody, she could be married, she could be, not into men, she could be not interested in dating, it could be a whole myriad of factors. Whereas online, you're on a dating site, you know that she's open to dating, and you know that she can be approached. And so I think it kind of, welcomes people to the idea of connecting and approaching others without the fear factor of walking the 20 feet to talk to somebody who might just be like, oh, I've got a boyfriend, go away. And No one wants to hear that. And women are the same way. I mean, we'll see a cute guy at an event. We're like, oh, but he's probably seeing somebody. Or what if he doesn't like me? Or, what if he thinks I'm weird for going up to him? So I'll just stand over here and wish that he'd somehow read my mind and come over. And it doesn't work that way, So online is a great venue for making connections in a way that's kind of comfortable for everybody.
So I'm assuming, you make up your profile, decide like, okay, does it ask you, are you into comic books, Lord of the Rings, or that's on you to just write your own kind of bio?
Both. We have an About Me section, but it's really in depth. We have about 100 different fandoms if you count the subcategories within comic. Like we have comic books, then we have Marvel, and then within Marvel we have a bunch of comics listed. Then DC and a bunch of comics listed, and Dark Horse and a bunch of comics listed. Joss Whedon has his own section.
Okay.
There's just so many different things you can select as areas of interest. And then even besides just the main what fandoms are you into question, and video games has its own section, we try to kind of infuse the fandomness throughout the site. In, for instance, the travel section, you can mention that you enjoy European travel or cruises or backpacking.
Normal stuff.
Or travel via Portkey or TARDIS, or that you really, really want to go to Middle Earth. You can select all these other things that are, fandom oriented to kind of give people a sense of your personality. Same thing in the language section, the sports section. We have Quidditch, we have
other kinds of interests.
Yeah,
I can already picture how exactly mine is going to go. Like, oh, it's very nice to meet you. Do you like Grant Morrison? I think he's brilliant. We're fucking done here. Next. Jennifer, thank you for being with us.
It was so nice speaking with you.
remember a couple of months back when I showed you that Vampirella #1, which is actually the second highest CGC 6 series grade, and I picked up those other EC books. Well, this man, Steve Barak, is actually the guy that I picked them up from. This convention is the first time Steve and I have met in person. We've spoken on the phone. Steve is one of the founders of the CGC, helped design the whole grading system, and now he is one of the top heads at heritageauctions.com, which is kind of like an online Sotheby's. It takes eBay to like the 10th exponent. As you can see by some of the shots that are appearing on your screen now, these books are really top-end stuff, and a lot of us are just kind of happy to be in the same room as these books. Steve, why don't you tell us a little bit about how you came up with the grading system?
Oh, well, what we do with the grading system was we went around with a stack of books. We picked up some very high grade, some restored, some low grade, took them to the top collectors and the top dealers in the world, and we got them to grade the books. And then what we do is we took the very highs and the very lows, threw them out, and then combined everything. So we got a consensus of what people want to grade. Some people like tears a little more than they like creases, or vice versa. And we did all that, and we said, okay, this is what people will accept, you know, and we used Overstreet standards too. And from there, we just kind of said, okay, here's our standards, and went with that.
The one thing I've appreciated about the CGC is every book has its own serial number, and you can actually call if you have any questions and speak to the guy who graded the book, which I've actually done before when I was in the market for a Superman 14. And one of them I was looking at was a 6.0 heavy restoration, extensive restoration. So I actually called the guy, and he went through his notes about what it was that, he's telling me about how you can tell if the paper's been restored or not. But what I want to know is, are there like certain set standards, or is it just kind of like the opinion of the grader himself, who's ever doing it, that set a book to be, let's say, a 6.0 as opposed to a 7.0? Like a 7, let's say, can have, 3 millimeters of spine roll, as opposed to a 6.0 can only have a crease in a certain area, maybe not across the cover or something like that. You see what I'm driving at?
Yeah, well, basically it's a little bit of both. It's an art and a science. So you say this is allowed in this grade, not allowed in this grade, but eye appeal counts for a lot too. And if somebody's going to say, you can't say like, because this has a tear, it can't be this certain grade, when you put it next to a book that you would call the same grade. If they'd pick that one every time, somebody would pick that one every time, then, you have to say this is a higher grade book, even if it has that defect that shouldn't be allowed in that grade. Because eye appeal is everything. And it's what we collect. So, but there is definitely set standards. It's like Colonel's secret recipe. We don't give them out because otherwise CGC would get competition.
On that note, speaking of like competition, we get a lot of questions about people that they ask me, "Hey Pete, do you do any PGX books?" And I actually have never bought a PGX book. I've only ever done CGC, not because at the time I had a preference, but just because I'm a little OCD, and by like the 5th or 6th Sig Series book, I only had CGC, so I don't see a reason to go, to the next level. So why don't you tell me, like, what is the difference? Because there's obviously a major price difference, and all you got to do is just check eBay for a 6.0. You can search, let's say, Amazing Spider-Man 129 6.0. You're going to get a 6.0 CGC, which will maybe run you modestly $600-700, or a PGX, which will maybe run you $400 or $500. Now, is that the same? Is that the same grade?
No, actually, the problem is PGX really messed up. They came in at a time when CGC had a monopoly, everybody's looking for an alternative, and they could have taken the market. The problem is that they didn't hire any experts. They were missing restoration like crazy. I have a book that I keep. It's a Black Knight Atlas, and you can see the color touch through the holder. I mean, so an amateur can catch it. So these guys can't catch it. They don't care. They got caught trimming their own books. I mean, so they shot themselves in the foot, and that's why big high-end players won't buy a PGX book at all. They just won't. But people who aren't knowledgeable just say, "Oh, it's in a case," and they'll buy it. So it's a real shame. It's bad for the hobby.
To me, I understand that if I'm going to pay, let's say $600 for a book, it better be worth that $600 as opposed to, and it better be a 6.0, let's say, as opposed to something else I'm looking at that's just, it's not worth it. I'd have to take that out of the case and possibly get a lower grade to submit it to the CGC. And that's just...
Or you have a restored book in the PGX holder and you submit to CGC because they don't say it's restored. CGC says it's restored, and then all of a sudden it's worth 10% of what you paid for it. And there's a reason Heritage only has CGC books or raw books. Now, the raw books we grade, myself or Lon Allen or some of the other guys, but we'd rather have a raw book sell than a PGX book sell because we can't risk our reputation.
You guys, like I said, have just a really, truly amazing collection, and I mean, it's just...
Well, this is just, all this is a part of the preview for the November auction. And we do this quarterly major auction. It's called our signature auction, 4 times a year. Okay. But every Sunday night we have a internet auction that's one stops and one starts every Sunday night. And so we do, when our one auction was 10.4 million. It's incredible. We are the world's largest, seller of comics and comic art.
So on that note, being, one of the top sellers of not only comics, but, comic art and etc., why don't you show us a little bit about some of the prizes you've got lined up at the convention today?
Right. Well, for the next auction, we have the Bill Watterson, Calvin and Hobbes piece. It's very rare to find this in the market because he kept almost all of his stuff. This was given away as a gift, as you can see down here. It was inscribed to somebody, and that should hit, they're talking about 200,000, maybe $250,000, and because it's so rare. It's a beautiful piece, and everybody loves Calvin and Hobbes, so it's just a great piece of Americana.
One of my favorite Sunday strips, second really only to Far Side.
Yeah, I could see that. And then we have down there, which we could switch to, is we have the McFarlane pieces that we had the Seamus collection where we just did sold one McFarlane cover, Spider-Man 320, Amazing Spider-Man 328, record breaking. It was like $650,000, and the estimate on it was about $100,000. So it's crazy.
Missed the estimate on that one.
Which is a good thing for the consigner. Very good thing. They were so happy to send me an email saying they were crying when it finished, and I've made their lives, and it's just incredible. It was a great, great time. And there was some more McFarlane stuff down here if you want to see it.
It is a great
Yeah,
cover, too.
I mean, these are the reproductions, but this is Spider-Man 325, and this is the assassination plot. You got the Red Skull, you got the American flag, you got Spider-Man, and you have all the destruction down here. It's so detailed, it's unbelievable. And McFarlane, right here, drew the Red Skull with the cigarette, just incredible. And then you have the Spider-Man number 2 cover, correct? Number 2. We sold the number 1 for $220,000 in the last auction, and the estimates on this is about $100,000. But McFarlane is super hot right now. The generation that grew up with it now has disposable income and can afford it.
I remember I actually started collecting comics right around the time that the original Spider-Man McFarlane series came out, and this was just one of the craziest friggin' stories I ever. Right? Torment was nuts, and I'm like reading it, like, what the fuck is going on here?
It changed Spider-Man back to being one of the most popular characters. Yeah. McFarlane really did amazing. I mean, don't get me wrong. There was other people writing and stuff, but his art transformed everything.
His art was what drew a lot of the people to it.
Exactly. Well, I mean, we're a visual medium, so it has to be the artist.
And so many people have come after him, like Eric Larson kind of tried to mimic his style on the book. Never quite got it, but I like the Eric Larson series as well, and I liked a lot of the stories, Powerless, and that was my introduction to Scorpion and everything else. But this was just, I still remember this today, and I can still go through the books and be like, wow, I remember reading this for the first time, and the whole thing with Calypso and Kraven sitting there with half a head on, and I'm like, what is this guy thinking?
Yeah, it's brilliant stuff. It really was. So we're really happy to have it. I mean, Seamus has entrusted us with the collection, and Martin bought the stuff just because he loved it, and he bought it. He traded Todd baseball cards and hockey cards for it sometimes, and paid him cash sometimes. But when he heard what it was worth, he was like, "Get this out of my house." So he's gonna do very well, like a few $1 million, easy.
Now, one final question, Steve. The prices on these books that are in the display cases, ranging obviously from, I think I saw one for $700, and then there's, $22.5 grand over there. Are these actually for sale, or is this where the auction is going to start at, and where you guys expect it to go for?
Right. No, this is a guesstimate for what we do here is everybody will stop and ask us what something's worth. So if we put a sticker on it, they already know, and we don't have to answer how much the Hulk 181 is going to go for every 15 minutes. But it's also to give people who don't know enough about comic books an idea of what these things are worth. So, this is estimated at $50,000, but this is a shot it could sell for $75,000. Something like the PEP 22, the first Archie, you get $15,000 on it. Now, this is a very super, super hot book right now. So it could go for $12,000, it could go for $25,000. There's been a resurgence in Archie that's incredible. This is actually right here is really cool. This has an ad for Action 1, so it came out the month before, and of course, this is 12 issues before Batman was introduced.
Those are cool.
Yeah.
Speaking as someone who's always liked the pre-hero Marvel, this takes that to a whole other level of the pre-hero DC books and everything. Actually, one final question. Let's take this one for example, and I get a lot of this. You can average out a price, and you can probably get a good guesstimate on a CGC book that, let's say, a 6.0 compared to a 7.0, but the jump from, let's say, a 9.0 to then a 9.2, 9.4, 6, and then finally, you got to get that 9.8 that, holy shit, you actually got it. Yeah. The prices jumps exponentially. You're talking thousands of dollars per 0.2 of a decimal point. Right. And how much more difficult and how much more scrutinized is the grading process for, let's say, those last 10 point, that last point, let's say?
Actually, it's easier to grade like a 9.8.
Really?
Because there's almost no defects. So you're like, wait a minute, where's the defects? Okay, this book is close to perfect. What's it missing? Why isn't it a 9.9? Why isn't it a 9.6? Yeah, slot graded, and yeah, 9.8 is the perfect grade. It's just so much easier now. Grading something that's like a 6.0 is much tougher because you have all these defects, and you're like, well, how's it going to look? When somebody holds it, is it going to look more like a 5, or is it going to look like a 7? And it's a much tougher grade to do mid-grades. Low grades are very easy too, because half the cover's torn off. Okay, here we go, fair, goodbye. And you can move on. Same thing with the highest of grades. But when you're talking about like a 9.2, it's much more scrutinized than a 9.8 because, well, is it a 9.4 or a 9.0? And when you're grading for selling, you want your client to be happy, and you also want the buyer to be happy. So you really have to walk a really fine line and make sure you get it right.
Steve, thank you for being with us, and enjoy the rest of the show, man.
I will. It's great seeing you.
You too, man.
Nobody panics when things go according to plan, even if the plan is horrifying. If tomorrow I tell the press that like a gangbanger will get shot, or a truckload of soldiers will be blown up, nobody panics. But if I say that one little old mayor will die, everyone loses their minds. Introduce a little anarchy, upset the established order, and everything becomes chaos.
Awesome. Thank you, man.
Walked away. We should be back soon, though. We walked away a little while ago.
Yeah, we're actually
going to start
getting ready
filming,
to film soon, so we better be back.
We'll start filming in about 20 minutes. So,
with that?
well,
Oh, I just totally fixed my underwear right in the middle of the camera. Is that recording? Tell me that's
Yeah,
recording.
it is.
Yes.
You're just talking about
That's
it.
got to be a fucking outtake. It really does.
tell the camera, please use that as an outtake.
I'll put that in.
Please use the clip of me fixing my underwear as an outtake. And you can use that as an outtake too. And this. And this is like infinity. So now what are we gonna do? Now I can't get out of this, Steve.
It's a temporal paradox. You're gonna blow up the fucking universe.
I think I just divided by 0. Hey, Steve. Hello, honey.
I was just asking about you.
Too many nerds?
Are you right?
I don't know.
This is like crotch cam.
It is.
Yes. Crotch and beer gut can.
I see.
Yeah.
It depends on how you hang.
Thank you, somebody.
Just for the sake of free advertising.
She did the art on that?
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
that's
horrible for everybody but you.
My appointment again.
Now they can see up our nose.
What's the volume?
They are, and it's expensive. It's exactly. You can make one of them. He wanted that one. He wanted that one. Hi. You're recording. The recording. You're recording the recording of the recording. And now you're recording the recording of the recording of the recording. Take a picture.
Jeeves.
Alfred.
Jarvis.
I upgraded to G. I can't wait till I'm nothing.
Oh, that's fun.
Can't wait. That's like the highest. I hope this gets really famous. If it does, then
Thanks, man.
then you'll be able to play video games again.
You know what? That is exactly true. Because if I had some time to myself, I could play video games.
Yeah, man.
I don't mind going to work, but this 8-hour wait to go home bullshit's really got to stop.
So, like, you guys also do a podcast?
Yeah, that's what we do. Every Saturday. New episodes come on Tuesday. Yeah, we film on Saturdays, and then this gentleman and this gentleman spend their whole weekend editing the whole thing. They're crazy. They do hate me. You see where I'm going with that?
Maybe.
Yes, behind me. I'm gonna get it out as soon as. Yeah. Lion face. Lemon face. What's up, guys? We are at the Pete's Basement booth with none other than A. David Lewis, the creator of the Tome. He is the brains behind the project that Roger, Rich, and I have been involved with. Want to just do it again? All right. Can I just draw attention to the perky jerky? Because that's... What is this? What are you doing? Oh.
You know, I saw it first as bull horns and not as boobs, but now I can't see it as anything but boobs.
I don't see boobs.
No.
I love it. I bring food and people are mesmerized.
Look at that. This is the
Oh,
abs.
yeah, it's Twibby, and there's the...
Yeah.
She's got no stomach whatsoever.
No.
But yeah, no, I see the Twibby now.
Hi.
I'm on for what? What am I on for? What are we doing? I don't know. We're just standing here, Roger. We're doing a mic check. We're testing. Pete is trying to pick up chicks, as usual.
What's his problem?
He's Pete. And he's entirely too short.
I still can't believe I'm
Comic-Con has always been about buying comics, getting all of those old books that I've always wanted. So we're going to take you on a nice tour of the convention floor. This, right next to me, is our good buddy, Big Kev. Kev, say hello.
How are you?
A little bit about yourself, bud.
I'm Big Kev.
Besides that.
Hey, what's up? Convention. Titties. Costumes. Concrete floors. Evil concrete floors. Painful concrete floors. Fucking concrete's a bitch. And that's my report from the convention. Concrete floors. Back to you in the office, Jim.
Good. XL, good.